Welcome to another edition of Yorkshire Kris Weekly. This week we're going to do one thing, that is prepare for the oncoming cold. Because the next week is going to be very, very, very cold. So it's a gorgeous day today. I'm in a t-shirt and warm in the garden. I'm going to show you around and show how I'm prepared for winter. So it's blue skies at the moment, lots of sunshine. We're going to see snow showers this week, and we're going to see temperatures dip down to anywhere down to -10 at very worst, but probably lots of -3s, -4s for the next week or two. And it's that sustained cold, which makes it different from other cold periods we've had so far this winter. Because it's going to be daytime temperatures struggling to get above zero, so effectively the plants over the next week or two will be slowly freezing through to the centre, and that is what we've got to try to avoid, otherwise it will kill either some half-hardy to hardy plants if the cold goes on for long enough. So let's have a look around the garden and see how I've protected everything. So in the front garden I've done the same, put lots of bark chippings around the palms, including this jabea. I've not got enough material to protect this smaller jabea, so fingers crossed that makes it. I've not protected the yuccas, but the one I have really protected, gone to town with, is this Phoenix canariensis with loads and loads of fleece wrapped around that and a huge fleece bag over the top and bark chippings around the base. The waggies stay as they are, bamboos as they are. You might have noticed I've not protected the Tetrapanax rexes because they'll be fine. And neither have I protected the Trachycarpus fortunei. So that's the front garden. So let's do a full walkthrough of the garden and see the extra protection I've given the plants over the last few days to get them ready for the oncoming cold spell. So the first thing I've wrapped is this Busia Odorata, and what I've done with many plants, not just this one, it's put loads of bark chippings around the base, so like a nice thick mulch right round the trunk of the palm. And this is to protect the roots from freezing, which is one of the areas where the plants are quite susceptible to cold, which is near the surface roots and the actual ground freezing, which would stop the uptake of water. And then we've got fleece wrapped around here, so lots of layers of really thick quality fleece, and if I had enough fleece and fleece bags I would cover the top as well. I may put a bin liner over the top of that to prevent snow going into the crown. So the yuccas next to that I've not protected at all, and this Trachycarpus nova is left unprotected, as is the bamboo. And the loquat is unprotected as well. These may suffer, the pseudopanax, one's down to hardest to -5ish, one's about -8, -10. So there's ferox and crassifolius, so we'll see if they can cope with the weather. So whatever else have we got? We've got the blue bamboo, which is susceptible to cold penetrating weather. So there's some mulch of bamboo leaves around the base, and it's quite a sheltered spot, so fingers crossed that'll get through the winter. Well, basically the next 2 weeks, because then it is spring, hopefully. So now we come to some tree ferns. We've got some different techniques employed here. This is lots of straw around the base, and then lots and lots of fleece wrapped around the trunk, not just the crown, which is also protected, but all the trunk. We don't want any of that to freeze. And lots of straw in the top of there, and hopefully that's enough insulation to keep that alive. I've wrapped the bigger tree fern in the back as well, but not the top, because it is well sheltered with the other plants and that garage wall, so that should be fine. And then also this tree fern. I've just put some bubble wrap over the crown and fleece in the top. I've run out of insulation, so hopefully that'll be enough to see that one through. So then if we go down the new path, we can see a full array of protection for these Trachycarpus palms. So I've used lots of straw. I've also used, as before, the sleeping bedding underneath these palms. So around the base there, got those mats, there's 4 mats. Put some more bark chip on top of that for extra insulation up and around the trunks, and straw as well where available. The Martianus, it's got tyres around it, straw, lots of fleece and polycarbonate on top. Got polycarbonate and straw and fleece all down here around these palms, including some aeoniums. So you've got to remember, you've got the Latisectus there, Gemini sectus, which are not hardy. So fingers crossed they make it. On the other side you've got all hardy plants, so there's no issues there with the Fatsias and these Robusta bamboos. Over there you've got Trachycarpus common, and that's got lots of bark chippings around the base as well to protect those surface roots. Now if we go across the bridge, I've got colocasias down there, so I've got straw on top. Now it looks pretty ugly, this part of the garden with all the extra protection I've put on it. So underneath that large plant pot, you've also got a Trachycarpus there, a very small one. And you've also got Trachycarpus over there underneath that lawnmower attachment, and under that chair. That's just to get the rain and snow off the plants and give it a little bit of overhead protection. Got bark chippings around them, including this Chimerops here, which is a small one, that's why I've protected that. Underneath that bucket you've got a Princeps, and underneath that fleece over there you've got lots of straw and another Princeps palm. Basically using whatever I can find to cover the plants, and I've done it in the order of priority, so the most tender ones, or the ones that are most valuable to me, I have given the most protection. Under all these beds, as before, we've got loads of straw and wood, and that's where all the colocasias and the half-hardy plants are, dahlias, etc., and the cannas in the ground, so we'll see if they get through. Now I put lots of fleece around the big Jabea. It's quite hard to do, I can't put a big shelter over it because it's too big, but I put a lot of fleece in and around the leaves. I've tied up the crown itself and put lots of fleece in the top. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just a hard plant to protect properly. It should be hardy enough, so fingers crossed that'll be fine. Again on that bucket, another Princeps. Got the Aloe polyphylla, which, believe it or not, is looking completely fine for now. Now that is really going to struggle with the predicted weather, so we might be losing that one. Got the Trachycarpus Princeps again, just put a polycarbonate sheet to keep the worst of the weather off there. This Chimerops is left unprotected, this is Cerifera. Put a little bit of plastic over top of that Dictylion, and also the Echeveria by the side of it. Again, loads of straw on top of the colocasias. Got the Busia seedling under that chair and fleece. Got a big fleece bag, lots of fleece around. That's a Brea amata. The Americana's probably going to die, but hopefully the Montanas will make it with these little shelters over the top to get the worst of the weather off. Psychos revoluta, got straw around that, got loads of mesh around that, and also a big cushion in the middle to keep the crown insulated. I could probably do a lot better job without covering it over with more straw and a big box or something, but I don't have the materials to hand. Here we've got a bit of sort of, not carpet, but the material used to put under a pond, underlay, and that's where we've got the Busia underneath that. This is a Trachycarpus Oreophyllus, and I have done a decent job protecting this. Got sort of old leaves and straw around the base, loads of fleece bags around the base, and then I've wrapped the whole palm in lots and lots of fleece going right around that, and then I put 2 fleece bags over the top. So fingers crossed that will survive. Here's got the Busia Odorata, again same sort of thing, lots of fleece round, lots of bark chip-ins around the base to save the roots, and then fleece bag over the top to try to keep that dry and also insulated from the worst of the weather. And again with these Princeps hybrids, got bark chip-ins around the base. Now one thing I've pretty much lost, I've only had -3, is this Washingtonia. Look at the leaves on that. They're all pretty much blackened off. Not quite given up hope on it, but I've just not really done a proper job of protecting it. Just a little bit of fleece in the crown there. It will lose all its leaves, but hopefully it's a quick growing palm, the leaves will come back in spring. So that's the back garden pretty much. I mean, I've got the tree ferns in that corner, which is the same sort of thing with fleece bags and straw around those as well. So fingers crossed they make it. So what I would say to you is basically just use whatever you can. Protect the most valuable palms to you first. Get lots of fleece around there, or straw, or hessian bags, or carpet. Sleeping bags are ideal if you've got some old sleeping bags to put over tree ferns, because they insulate really well and they just slip over the top and they're nice and big. So if you've got some old sleeping bags, that's a great thing to use. And basically hope for the best. If you've got some extra cash and you want to really protect those delicate palms, you can use heating cables, but really you need to have bought them by now to protect the plants by now, because the cold weather, this is Sunday, the cold weather really starts on Monday for the next week or so. A little mild spell next weekend hopefully for some of us, and then back to freezing conditions into March. So it's going to be a long old slog this. Got a lot of cold weather to get through, and hopefully palms will survive, and other tender plants, not just palms. So good luck everybody. Hopefully get your protection done today or the next couple of days, and we'll see over the next few weeks and months which plants have made it and which unfortunately have to come to the vagaries of the British weather.